you, gentlemen. I think you've already seen Tadge, obviously, here yesterday, talking about the new C7 Corvette Cross Flags. And with him today, we've got Kirk Bennion as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Tadge.
So how many of you were here yesterday? Almost everybody. So you're really kind of tired here for a month? Okay. All right. Well, we got some new blood. Kirk came in today, so we'll let him talk in a little more detail about the emblem design. But first, I just want to remind people of a couple of things. One, that if you want your C6 or have a friend that wants a C6, been thinking about anniversary car, 60th anniversary car, 427 convertible. The 26th of this month is the last day to get your order in and be guaranteed the car. We'll try to get as many people accommodated as possible after that date, but there's no guarantee after that date. So just let everybody know that the end is near for the C6. And I said yesterday, you know, we really had a great run with the C6. We got actually VIN 1 here, this Z06 anniversary car. That's VIN 1. So that may end up in a museum someday. But the anniversary car has been a real hit. You know, white now is our #1 color. I never thought it would be, but it is #1 color now. And the 427 convertible has been so popular. You know, you guys asked for it years ago when we brought out the Z06 and finally did it. And it's really kept the plant running actually on overtime the last year of the C6. So awesome way to take the car out on a real high note. So thank you very much for that. This is really a turning point in Corvette history. 6 generations and 60 years. So new Corvettes don't come along very often. And we decided here at Petit Le Mans it was time to start the clock, the countdown to the next generation, the 7th generation car. So on Thursday, we announced to the media right across the track here that we were going to introduce the C7 to the world on the 13th of January 2013. So 1/13/13, that's what it says here. And there's a website called 1/13/13. It's 1 spelled out, the number 13, and then 13 spelled out. And we're going to try to post any new information at that website. So you keep track of the countdown to the new car, and any little tidbits we decide to let slip out will appear on there, so you can kind of keep one eye open as to what's going on. We really wanted to make the announcement at the racetrack, and Doug Feehan was here with me yesterday, and we were talking about the closeness between the race car team and the production cars team. There's really not a lot of distinction now between the folks. Everybody knows each other's job. We all try to make each other successful. And more than ever before, you're going to see the lessons from the racing, the tech transfer from racing appear on the new car, and it'll just make the car that much better. So that's why we decided to make the announcement here at the racing venue. And then we also wanted to emphasize that the car really is all new. There's a lot of rumors out there on the internet that, they kind of had to scrape this 7th generation car together, basically took the old car and reskinned it. So to prove the point, we brought, and you guys have all seen it, but we brought, for those who haven't, the only 2 parts that we're carrying over from the C6 to the C7. One is the little latch at the back, not the one at the front, but the removable roof at the back. This is the little latch. This one part we're going to carry over, at least mechanically. We're talking about changing its finish to match the frame, so it might not be the same part number, but that tells you we are going to keep the removable roof, even though there's a lot of pressure to get rid of that thing, because you could, if you didn't have a convertible, you could make the car lighter, and that would be better fuel economy. But we are very cognizant that people want to have fun with their cars, and so we're going to keep the removable roof. And then the second part is the cabin air filter. So this is like a commodity part. So this filters the air coming into the cabin. So those are really the only 2 parts that are carryover. That means there's not a single carryover part in the chassis, in the body structure, in the powertrain, in the interior, in the exterior, in the electrical system. Not one single part is carried over. And so that means, you know, you hear all new out of marketing people's mouths all the time, and you know, you could just change the emblem and they'd say, oh, it's all new. well, this car really is all new. It's not just marketing hype. And we did introduce the new emblem on Thursday, and we've had these posters here. We have the very first shots. We actually auctioned the first part off as part of the benefit, but we do have a couple samples of the very first shots. They're not quite perfect yet. The production tools are just coming online. We're just starting to ship parts to Bowling Green, start to work the assembly process, but we thought we'd share this emblem with you. That's why I wanted to have Kirk up here, is because a lot of thought goes into every part of the car, and probably no single part more than the very symbol of the car itself, the cross flags emblem. So the poster up here shows some of the historical cross flags. There's been actually 18 or 20 or even more over the history of the car, but we came up with something different for this car. You know, it's more swept back, more delta wing. I think it looks more aerodynamic and faster. But I really want Kirk to take you through a little bit of the thinking behind it and some of the process to come to the final conclusion. Kirk?
Thanks, Tadge, and good morning, everybody. As you can imagine, you know, doing the next cross flag, that's always a big deal for us internally in design. And you know, the cross flag is typically, it's influenced by what we see in the car and what is the sign of the times. And so, with what Tadge was saying, you know, when you look at the cross flag, it isn't just the emblem on the car. It's kind of evolved to where now it's part of our ads. It's part of the apparel. It's used in so many different ways on the car that we have to think about all that when we're designing it. Now, when, you know, from like past cross flags today, I've had the question like, you know, when did we put the bow tie in there? And that, well, or actually when did we switch it? Because I should say the bow tie actually influenced that. I think it was like 80 to 82 was when the bow tie showed up on the right side, and that's when we reversed the flags, the cross flags flipped from the red. So we kind of do look at history. And the reason being it was there is because the bow tie fits in the right quadrant with the way tank and everything like that. But when we did this new badge, here again, we wanted something faster, so much so that if you look at it, if you look at the intersection, the top areas, you'll notice that's heavily influenced. If you look at our Air Force logo, where their flags are folded back and they actually overlap, that's how bad we wanted this to be perceived to be that much faster. You know, every time a Corvette comes out, you know, it seems to be more capable of what the last one was. So here again, that was our way of getting some of that fed into there. The inserts are different. It's, you know, in the past we've had the inserts were kind of flush, they were back colored. These are more dimensional. They're first surface finish. They have an anodized white appearance to them. You know, that was our way of getting more jewelry. You know, here again, we want not only the badge to look more refined, but look more expensive, but evolve in how it's executed, and it is a big deal to us. You know, as to Tadge's point, you know, it's really since C4 to 84 where the badges become iconic and known to the car. You know, before then, I'd say C3, I think we had 3 or 4 different designs in that, and that just was kind of the thinking at the time was when the car got refreshed and refreshed the bow tie. Now we really tie it into the car as an iconic symbol to that generation of car. And that finishes, you know, we've kind of evolved away from the black. We've gotten into this high polished luster here, and here again, it's, you know, we want to exhibit the refinement in the car in doing so. Not to say that, you know, this badge, you know, like I said, you'll see it in other applications. Obviously, it has to work in print, and you'll see it in black and white. But here again, you know, in design, and as you can imagine, we do a number of iterations. We do a number of test parts in there. I think even the way this badge fits on the next car is going to be a little bit more unique to what you've seen in the past as well.
Thanks, Kirk. I hope you appreciated the effort we took to have them play the national anthem while we were introducing this car. It wasn't easy to arrange that. It's all American power, and they really want to go to bat for us that way. So anyway, we'll take some questions and answers, but I wanted to let you know, don't forget the website, 11313, and we are going to start disclosing some information. The first thing that you'll hear is next week we have a media event where we're going to talk about the engine, and we're going to talk about it in detail. So we're not going to talk about today because we owe the media the rights to that story, but we are going to let folks know what's going to power this beast. And I think you all are going to be pretty happy. You know, we've we've taken a lot of polls. You know, I've asked how many people want V6s and 4 cylinders, and you know, there's a pretty good consensus on that. So we'll talk about the details starting next week. So I want to thank you all for coming. I want you to really enjoy the race. I've talked to them. They're not taking it easy this race. They're not backing off. They've got nothing to lose. They've won the championships. So they are going to race like it's the last race of their life. So look for some good action out there. And we're happy to take some questions. Oh, one more thing. We have the emblem here, and anybody's welcome to come up and look at it, get your picture taken with it. It was funny when we did this on Thursday and we first let people take pictures of it. It wasn't 15 minutes from the time that the first picture was taken till I was getting texts from customers who'd already seen it on the forum, seen pictures of people with the emblem, so it just shot around the world so fast, it's unbelievable. But everybody who's here today, we hope, we have a little lapel pin, and I know a lot of you got yours yesterday, so don't try to double dip. We don't have an infinite supply, but we do have pins for everybody who showed up. I think the museum is now selling them, but see Barb or myself or one of the reps here, and until they run out, we'll give you a free pin. So we'll take some questions. Who's got a question? Oh, you want a pin? That's going to be the main question. Do we have any questions before I start throwing pins by the handful? Right here. Same color. And we'll take it out in the sun. You can take a look at it. Back here.
If you cut the mules that we see on the internet, the mule, those body shells, are they C6s or C7 shells?
The question is whether the spy shots of some of the test properties are really C6s or C7s, and the answer is there's a mixture of both. They're heavily camouflaged, but we've done some chassis powertrain mules and we put C6 body panels on them, so from a distance they just look like a C6. There's a couple of tip-offs if you look carefully, and then some of the cars with closer to representative bodywork. None of them have exactly representative bodywork, but close for test purposes. Those are the ones that you see all covered in vinyl tape and canvas and everything else. So 11313, you'll see it completely naked. Right here. The question is, the music was playing, couldn't quite hear, and I'm not sure that was what Kirk was talking about, but I got that question yesterday. Why did we switch the design? And Kirk can handle that.
It's really the shape of the bow tie, the angled sides of the bow tie. We felt that it matched. You can see on the C4, actually the angle of the outer perimeter is an exact offset of the bow tie. Whereas if you had it on the left side, you wouldn't be able to do that. So the guys at the time felt it was more harmonious to have it on the right for that reason.
More questions back here? Are you asking when do we determine the color choices, the full palette? Well, that's actually a design question. I'll let Kirk answer.
Actually, our color work has a little bit more lead time than you might expect. I mean, typically, I would say, we're concepting colors 4 years out. We're looking at a lot of different, and then we're finalizing and developing colors for production 2.5 to 3 years away. Just one last thing. We do. There's a lot of trend work that goes behind, and because you can imagine the challenge of trying to anticipate the color that's going to be in vogue and it's going to be popular. So there's a lot of work that's done behind the scenes there to make sure we're pinpointing the right hotspots in the trends at the time.
Okay, we have to wrap it up because we got Ron Fellows coming in. But we do have, is this an award from Michelin? And we have Mark McCary Matt McCary?
Matt?
Back here?
Yep.
Okay, we have a winner. Thank you very much. So, thanks. I won't tell you exactly when it'll be on the news, but next week we're going to be talking to the press, and it won't be long after that. It'll come out pretty quick. Can I take another question or two? Or do we have Ron? We have Ron. All right, we can't make Ron wait. So we'll be around the tent. If you guys have any more questions, see us. And I know I don't have to remind you, don't forget to ask us for the pins. You can show off to your friends. Okay, so next.